Oh, hey YouTube. Welcome to the fucking booty base. And I don't know if you know this, but they call this place the booty base for a reason. And one of those reasons is because we perform a lot of exercises to efficiently contract, squeeze, plump the rump, put the juice in the boot, and build the booty. And sometimes those exercises get a little wacky and they get a little weird and they involve a lot of overload techniques and this, that, and all the rest. So today, I'm gonna be exploring, explaining, dissecting, and demonstrating you 2 exercises which I have provided for the Glute Guru gang around the globe and all of my amazing members down here at the booty base with some of the more unique hip thrust variations which you can do anywhere around the world because they are extremely home friendly. So, we're gonna be going through 2 exercises here, and the first one, let's just say, I think you might prefer to do this one at home because it looks a little funky, it looks a little weird, and sometimes people comment on my post saying, this is a fucking super dumb exercise. Well, maybe it looks that way, but trust me when I say, if you try it and you apply these techniques that I provide for you here in this video, you are gonna be getting a crazy contraction in your glutes if you can nail and master that technique properly, and it is a kneeling banded hip thrust. Then we're gonna be coming over for a single leg, double elevated, 1 1/4 hip thrust, and that's quite a motherfucking mouthful. Now, this exercise requires nothing but body weight and a few boxes to elevate yourself on, and trust me when I say that a lot of people cannot even get to 10 reps with this exercise if they're performing it properly, no matter how strong you are. People are always asking me for at-home variations, or they're always asking me for different variations for hip thrusting because maybe they don't have the equipment available either at their gym or at their home or whatever it might be. So these are 2 fantastic and amazing options which I definitely recommend for you to both build strength and also get a tasty pump and a tasty contraction in your booty. But this isn't just about me, this is your channel as well. So I want you to comment below and join the conversation and let me know what are your 2 favorite hip thrust variations that help you get a crazy contraction in your glutes. Well, we're gonna be kicking things off with our first exercise, which is our kneeling banded thrust. And make sure you pay close attention to all the little cues and technique points in this video, because if you get it wrong, you're probably not gonna feel your glutes and you're gonna feel your quads way too much. But if you master the technique, you're gonna master the technique and get that booty building up real nice and big. All right. And now we are coming on in for some kneeling banded hip thrust. Just when you thought hip thrusts were the most awkward and weird exercise in the gym, we come on in and we start fucking doing it doggy style. So, we're coming on in and we're gonna be creeping out further enough with the band, okay, to make sure that we have tension on the lockout. Now, if you want to, you can put a box or something here in front of you to keep your hands onto, just because it's kind of nice to have something to do with your hands. Now, from here, we hinge back like so, letting the band pull us back and hopefully having a little bit of tension at the start of the rep. From here, Brittany pushes forward and she meets her hips at her ribs, tucking under, coming into that beautiful up and down straight posture. Brittany, come back for me, stretch, arch, go through, boom, squeeze, really focusing on that posterior pelvic tilt and tucking under and squeezing at the top. We're hinging back, good now, a little more open the chest on the way back for me, Britt, that's better. Pull through, squeeze, just like so, up and down at the top, and back, boom, fold, boom, tuck under, boom. What I don't want to see is fucking yourself all the way back and forth like this. Boom, like that. See how her body is now on this angle? That's a no-go. That's gonna burn your quads up like crazy. It's not gonna do much for your glutes. And you might feel your glutes with this, and your quads with this, and that's okay, that's completely normal. If you wanna feel your glutes even more, what are we gonna do? We're gonna pretend that we're doing the fucking splits with our knees. So imagine you're driving your knees out like that, and now push through and tuck again. Now Britt, tell me if you feel even more glutes with that.
Yeah.
Because we're activating, okay, through that external rotation and driving out into more abduction, you'll hopefully start to feel a bit more. Give me 3 more reps, boom. And imagine literally as you're pushing up, you're doing the splits with your knees. Push, squeeze, and just that cueing can sometimes help to make you feel the glutes a little bit more when the quads start to take over. Beautiful work. Now, you might feel the glutes a lot at the start, and the quads might take over at the end, and that's okay. You're gonna fucking have a go, you're gonna look fucking weird, and you're not gonna care. You know why? Because you're a more fucking badass babe. So there you have it, guys. Quite possibly the most awkward exercise that you can perform in the middle of the gym, doing it doggy style with the kneeling banded thrust. Now, obviously, you are gonna need access to a band to be able to perform these. Now, depending on how thick and how hard your band is and also how strong you are, is gonna depend on how you can kind of set this up. So if you do have a lighter band, then you might need to come a little bit further out from the attachment or the pole or whatever it might be that you have it attached to, so you can actually get a decent amount of resistance. The band that I was using there with Brittany was a quite thick, heavy band, so we were relatively close to the pole, but again, if it is a little bit of a lighter band, just go further out or perform it in high reps to be able to get the same desired result and the same desired effect. Now, moving on to the second exercise, we don't need any equipment whatsoever other than to be able to pry ourselves up onto an elevated surface on both our back and our feet. Now, we use these two boxes down here, but if you don't have access to these, well, that's completely fine. You can just use a couch, a bench, a fucking tabletop, or whatever it might be, so don't make fucking excuses, okay? Look for solutions. Now, I want you to pay attention to a few different things in this video, such as the foot positioning and also the ways in which we can perform it to make it either a little bit easier or a little bit harder, and how many reps you should be performing of either variation before you progress forward into the next one. So without further ado, let's get into quite the tongue twister with a double elevated single leg, one and a motherfucking quarter hip thrust, ladies. One of, if not the hardest, single leg hip thrust variation, which is actually going to be targeting a lot of our hamstrings, a lot of our posterior chain, as well as our glutes. And we're doing a double elevated single leg 1 1/4 hip thrust. That's a bit of a fucking mouthful, isn't it, Bob? Now, what we're going to do is, if we want to be targeting a little bit more hamstrings, which I think is probably your best bet with this because it's replacing a deadlift, we want to be digging our heel down into the box. Now, we're going to get this other leg off and out of the way, and all we're going to be doing is shooting our hips all the way up, but we don't want to do a glute sweep. We want to be very hingy so we can get that range of motion and then come all the way down, butt touching the ground, and then all the way up. Now, to make this harder, we do the additional quarter at the top. So down, up, squeeze, down, pause. Up, squeeze, down a quarter, up, squeeze, all the way down. But this is very challenging. If you can't get at least probably 6 to 8 reps of that, then that's completely fine. I want you to just do exactly the same thing, but just go for like regular reps. So just take the quarter away, and then if you can manage this, however, if you can do more than like 15 reps with that, then I want you to put the quarter in, okay? Now the goal with this is just to get a really good burn, get a really good pump, and try to progressively increase the amount of reps that you can do over time, because trust me when I say you'll be able to pretty much work this to failure. I did it once at the end of a workout, and I was already really cooked, and like I couldn't get more than 10 reps. I was fucking fried. So anyone who's done my 28-day isolation challenges knows just how hard these are, and they're gonna be a fantastic variation for you to replace those deadlifts. And we have other awesome single leg hip thrust variations to replace the other deadlifts throughout the week as well. Now, ladies, I want also to have you know that this last hip thrust variation is actually so difficult and so challenging that I decided that on the last program, I would use it as an at-home variation substitution for deadlifts. For those of you who might be stuck at home right now and don't have access to a barbell, you see, it's pretty hard to replicate a barbell movement at home. Hip thrusts, we can very easily manipulate with these overload techniques, so we can make them really challenging. Squats, we can do single leg variations, etc. But with a deadlift, a lot of the time, you need to actually be picking weight up and down and lifting things. It's called a deadlift to be able to actually perform the movement. However, this variation is so challenging, and in the way that we can kind of manipulate the way that we're putting our feet to be digging down into the box, we can also work those hamstrings and glutes in a somewhat similar but still different way to somewhat mimic that deadlift and get a kind of similar stimulus. So it's not going to replace a deadlift, but it is an awesome variation for those of you at home who are trying to maintain that strength or find something that's going to be a similar substitute while you might not have access to heavier objects to be able to lift. So, that is our 2 unique hip thrust variations done for today. Trust me when I say that I could have done about 20, 30, 40, 50, 69, who knows, different variations that I could provide for you here in this video, but I decided to keep it short and sharp. So instead of me providing you with more and more, like I said, if you haven't already, it's time to get in the comment section below and join the conversation. And let me know, and all of the Glute Guru gang watching this video, what your favorite 2 hip thrust variations are that help you get a crazy contraction and a tasty peachy pump in your rump. Anyway, that is our video done and dusted for today. We are going to be filming a whole variety of other exercises, squats, deadlifts, and other muscle group variations as well, and exploring 2 different unique and unconventional exercises. So, If you don't want to miss any of those videos, you better do yourself a motherfucking favor. You know what to do. You're on YouTube, you watch this shit all the time. I need you to go and like. I need you to comment. I need you to subscribe. I need you to turn on that motherfucking bell. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry boy, you know what they say. YouTube, oh, kneeling bandit thrust,